I'm going to get going. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Chris Adzima. I'm the manager of client services for OTIS. And today I'm going to be helping you understand how to write better tickets or get better support from OTIS by giving us the information that we need to see in order to help. So why does this matter? Well, in order to get fast service, the more information we have up front will prevent us having to ask follow-up questions or maybe even going down the wrong direction as far as troubleshooting goes. It allows us to see if bigger things are happening. For instance, if there is an outage with one of our systems, the more information we have and we can see that happening, the quicker we can get to those bigger outages. So it's pretty important. One thing that, or I should say, the first thing that we see when we get a ticket is the subject line, right? And this matters because we have, I think, over 70 people in OTIS, and everybody has their own specialties and jobs they do. And if we don't know what this is about, we don't know who to send it to quickly, and therefore it will typically stay in tier 1 for longer as we try to figure out what's going on. So when you're writing these subject lines, make sure you're including the system you're working on. Make sure you're including possibly a little bit of what's going on, you know, just something that says this is the system and it's broken, or I need access, or something like that, along the lines of letting us know that there's which direction to go to. Good example here, Synergy gradebook issue, cannot add assignments. Real quick, we know exactly what's going on. We know exactly which team to go to, and it can be done a lot quicker. Patricia, you got a question?
Yes. Do you care if sometimes the subject line becomes a little longer? Like, I sometimes worry about saying too much, but I feel like I need to put everything there for you to get it.
No, I mean, know that, like, in any system, you know, the longer it goes, the longer it has a possibility of, like, falling off the edge of the table. So we'll only see the first couple of characters. But at the end of the day, no, it doesn't matter. I would say try to, like, I don't know what it's called in any other world, but like in journalism, we called it pyramid writing, right? You put the most important stuff up front, and as it goes down, it gets less important. Think about that the same way in both the subject and the description for your tickets.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so this avoid like a single word subject line like help. Obviously, you know, you're coming to us, we know you need help. Let us know what you need help with. Information that is key to helping us understand what's going on and allowing us to troubleshoot. Obviously, if this is a situation where you are having an issue with your hardware, right? This isn't like a Synergy issue, or, I mean, even if it is a Synergy issue, it could be related to your device. So it's always nice to know what device you're accessing this from, what your device you're using. Most device IT numbers are a sticker on the device. If that sticker has fallen off, there are ways within Windows you can type in the start menu, you can type computer name, and it'll bring up the name of your computer, which incidentally is exactly your IT number. So, and it'll help us know what we're talking about. Are we talking about a Chromebook? Are we talking about Windows? If you're out in the schools, or I mean, even at the PEC, if you tell us, you know, roughly where you're located, we can, if we had to come and physically visit you, we'd know where to go. Also, Sometimes if there's a cluster of problems, we can determine whether or not it's a networking issue on one thing. Finding out who's affected. Most of the time it's you, the person who's submitting the ticket, but sometimes teachers or administrative assistants are filing it for somebody else. So let us know who the person is having the problem. And then if you are not in your typical workplace, if you're not next to your PPS phone, let us know how we can get a hold of you outside of that, just to get you help as quick as possible. So one of my biggest pet peeves always is the phrase "doesn't work," right? And that's because it doesn't help further the troubleshooting. It doesn't let us know, right? Synergy is not working, doesn't tell me what's going on. And as far as I know, I pull up Synergy and here it is, it's working for me. So I have no way of knowing what's going on. So try to avoid using that phrase, or at least only that phrase. A ticket with the subject line of help and a description of Synergy is not working will likely result in a lot of back and forth. But you can give clear Synergy giving a 403 error when trying to save grades in period 3. That is perfect, right? Like that, I know exactly what I'm going for there, and I know exactly who's going to get you help, and probably the first couple of steps of troubleshooting. So try to think of that, and absolutely, if you're getting an error, make sure you're including what that error is, and as much of that error message as you could possibly give us. And then that kind of ties into showing and don't tell, right? Screenshots are tremendously useful for us. There are things that you may not think of as important that's going on the screen that we're going to clue into. There could be a red dot in the corner, and that tells us that maybe there's a connection issue, right? So these screenshots are super helpful. Also, because we have like for instance, when it comes to sites being blocked, because we have different layers of security, different things could be causing that block. And if all we know is that, hey, the website was blocked, well, we don't know if that was securely, or if that was Umbrella, or if that was even higher up at our ISP level. But a screenshot would be able to give us that information. And that kind of ties into making sure you capture as much of the screen as possible, right? It's nice to keep it so that it's able to focus on it, but it's sometimes things like the URL or even the title of the window itself can help us understand what's going on. So get as much of that as you can. Sorry, I forgot to get an example of a good screenshot versus a bad screenshot to put in here, but essentially, the more information we can see in that screenshot, the better. And if at all possible, attempt to get that screenshot from the device that's having the problem. A photo over the shoulder of somebody works okay, but it's going to have a lot more information if we get it from the device itself. So the next thing that you might want to include is things that you've tried, right? Everybody makes the joke about IT. The first thing we say is, have you turned it off and turn it back on again, right? Well, that's because we don't know that you've tried that. And believe it or not, it works a majority of the time, that just resetting it works. But if you've already tried that and now you're coming to us for help, let us know that you did that, because we're going to be able to skip that step, right? Along with other things like trying different browsers or trying different user accounts, trying different computers, things like that. If you let us know that you've already tried that, we know we don't have to go through those steps, and it will avoid us saying, hey, make sure you've tried to restart it, and hey, make sure you've tried it with a different computer. So let us know what you've tried. That way we can know where to start. Another thing that you might not think about while you're writing these tickets is you're having one of those days, you're having a typical Monday, and you can't log into this system, your computer's running slow, and you don't have good Wi-Fi connection, right? So you say, well, I'm going to contact IT. I'm going to put all three of those things in a ticket and get this taken care of. The issue there is that because we work, off of tickets, that one's only going to be able to sit in one person's, queue or being worked on by one person, where those three issues could be working in tandem if we had three separate tickets, right? So you may only get resolution on the ability to log into a certain system, but your computer's still going to be running slow and your Wi-Fi's not got great signal because the other two bits weren't being worked on while that first one was. So if you do have separate issues, make sure to send in separate tickets so that they can be worked on by the appropriate teams and get done as quick as possible. Now, this is just a recommendation. Using the support portal to fill out the ticket form is going to be a little bit better because there are automations on some of those subsequent little questions that they ask you that will put them directly into the correct queue, right? Like if you go in there and you select Synergy as the system that you're having an issue with and all that other stuff, it's going to get routed to the Synergy team and it's going to be handled quicker, as opposed to an email with all of the same information in it is going to always have to go through our tier 1 support to get triaged. Well, and while that isn't necessarily that long of a process, we're talking about 30 minutes, an hour, maybe even 2 hours, depending on the day, where it's sitting in that tier 1 queue that it could be sitting in the Synergy team's queue waiting to get picked up. So you can get done quicker if you use the portal. But I do also understand the ease of picking up an email, sending it really quickly and being done with it. So just know that that's, depending on the urgency you have, it may be better for you to use the support portal. Also, there is information on the support portal that may give you the answer to what you're looking for prior to even having to file a ticket. And we're getting better and better at being able to serve up that information to you in a way that would be helpful. So it's always nice to keep looking back there and seeing if there is something that's going to be able to help you out there without having to wait for somebody to respond.
Hey, Chris?
Yeah.
Is it all right to reply via email once I get a response?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's totally fine, because that works just like if you were putting it into the portal itself. It shows up the exact same way. So absolutely able to reply via email. It's that initial submission that allows it to work its way correctly through there. So what we've covered today, make sure you have a clear subject line, lets us know what's going on. We can utilize that to quickly move it around to where it needs to go. Include that relevant information, the number, your asset tag number, the room number you are. When you're describing the issue, make sure you're being descriptive of what's going on, what you were attempting to do, and what happened. A good way to look at, and I should have said this on the other tab or the other slide, but one good thing to make sure you include is, this is what happened and this is what I expected to happen, right? I clicked on the button, I expected to go to this page, but what actually happened is I got this error, I went here. That way we know, like, oh, what's going on. Make sure, if you can, include screenshots, error messages, just so we have a better understanding of what's going on. Tell us what you've already done so that we know what not to have you do again. Separate tickets, separate issues, making sure that we get all of those issues working at the same time as opposed to having to wait in line, and then using that support portal to ensure that we get the filtering done correctly and quickly. All right, that is all I had. I said it was quick, but I think if we all follow those things, we'll have a lot quicker resolution to our problems and being able to to get you back up and running for whatever's going wrong a lot quicker. I'll leave it open for any questions anybody has. If oh, go ahead.
Thanks. In the drop down, when you choose what kind of department you want to route it to, sometimes it's kind of hard to know what it is it's going to. And I don't know what to do about that, or if I'm not sure where.
If you're not sure, you can leave that blank. A lot of our routing rules are not dependent upon what that department was selected. It's on, you know, the type of issue and the system or the hardware. So so you can leave that blank, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? All right, let me just make sure. I don't think there were any questions in the chat. Nope. All right, well, I will be putting this on, I won't be doing it, but we'll be getting this up onto Pepper. We'll also be getting this onto our YouTube channel for viewing later. So I will make sure that gets done, and then everybody can share this with anybody they want to share it with, in order if they feel like it is beneficial to them. I know I'll be sharing it with a couple of different groups. So thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, you can always email me as well. Thank you.